Hello, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Hi, thanks for joining me after coffee. I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to start out with a quick question just so I can know who here has heard of this person. This is Bob Ross. Okay, good. So he's a global icon. So you must be familiar with Happy Accidents. I just wanted to let him a short clip to talk about Happy
You can always
Accidents.
add a little blue if it gets too bright. Take a little phthalo blue and add it in there and dull it right down. Because you know, if you've painted with us before, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Because very soon you learn to work with anything that happens here. And when you get over that fear of making a mistake, then it becomes fun. Then it really becomes fun. That's when you experience the joy.
So for him, the accidental brushstroke wasn't a failure. It was a pivot point when he said, "We don't make mistakes, just happy accidents," in that sweet, soft, gentle voice. He wasn't just talking about paint, he was describing serendipity. Serendipity is finding something wonderful when you aren't looking for it. It's an unexpected spark that leads to some real magic. But for designers, those accidents are usually the first thing that we try to design out. We optimize for the safest, most efficient route, eliminating friction, usually at the cost of personality, surprise, and joy. So, in this talk, I am pulling a lesson from my life as an illustrator, embracing the unexpected and intentionally manufacturing moments of delight that people genuinely love. So you know who Bob Ross is, but you're probably wondering, like, who is this Mick chick? So here is me in a nutshell. I am a meme queen mom machine. I'm an extroverted introvert, and what some people might call an overthinker. I prefer the term professionally thoughtful or deeply empathetic. I feel a lot of feels, and I care immensely about how other people feel. And that shows up a lot in my work as half designer and half illustrator. So here will be a quick tale of these two mix. So first, by day, I'm a designer on the Google Delight team on Google Search. We are a small team that brings the element of surprise to billions of people. We call these Easter eggs, but they are more than just decoration. They're how we add personality and reward a little curiosity. And in a way, they often feel like their own kind of happy accidents that people can discover. So here's one of our OGs. This is, if you've never done it, Google do a barrel roll. The page spins, that's it. It's pointless, but it's also perfect. More recently, we've been tapping into the cultural zeitgeist. We love to show up in small but impactful ways that really shows that like Google gets it. So, when Wicked came out, the movie, and everyone was singing that damn song, we made the search results actually defy gravity. We also love to help create shared cultural moments, like letting people celebrate their favorite Olympians. So last year, during those 2 weeks, we threw over 1 billion virtual flowers, which was kind of wild. And lastly, this one is kind of foreign to me, but maybe you all will get it.
Same procedure as every year, James.
As an American, I don't understand that, but it is much more culturally relevant for you. We've started expanding and localizing our team's efforts into different markets, and this was one of our Easter eggs submitted by a German. But Google is still a job and it's still very corporate. And well, I need a little something for my own outlet of my own self expression. So, illustration is my personal work, it's my creative playground. It's a little space where I can be a lot of weird. There's no rules, it's just pure exploration. I've found it to be helpful, especially in expressing my feelings, especially if I'm having a rough day going on there. Plus, I can draw whatever I want, even if it's a lot of butts, boobs, and farts, specialty of mine. I'm still trying to get a fart Easter egg into search, but we'll see one day. And for a long time, these two selves have felt very separate. There was the UX designer and the illustrator. One was all about order, being structured, scalable, and predictable. And the other one was more chaotic, personal, messy, and unexpected. They existed in parallel, but they never really talked. But what if they could? So maybe it's serendipity that this is where AI enters my story and it pivots a little bit more. When Gen AI started its chokehold on the world, I unsurprisingly had a lot of feelings about it. I don't think you need me to tell you that it's officially moved from novelty to ubiquity. Like, you can't escape it. Every day there is a new headline, either about how AI is revolutionizing our industry or coming for our jobs. Designer Mick can't escape it. Every roadmap has pivoted for AI. I'm actually in the thick of 2026 planning and we're talking about it. Every tool I use now has AI features. And Illustrator Mick can't escape it either, because every day there's an existential threat or a new demo of how AI is being used to kind of render human artists completely unnecessary. So, a lot of feelings, but I am nothing if not a diehard optimist. And something inside me really told me to like lean into my anxiety and just play with it. So I decided to face my enemy and decided to train my own AI model in my style. Honestly, it was pretty easy. I didn't have to go out and learn how to code or anything like that. Of course, there's a billion tools out there for it. I especially have enjoyed using Exactly AI, which is very much an artist-focused platform, and Leonardo.ai too. But really, you just need a good data set and a lot of patience. And then you'll just kind of fall into that same loop of testing and iterating. So I grabbed a few of my finest pieces, a lot of the drawings that I've been doing over the years. I threw them in and waited for the machine to do its thing. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, it's done. Oh, wait. It totally bungled them. I'm like, I don't know what I was looking at here. I think we all kind of put a lot of faith in AI in those early times. So, for instance, I prompted a topiary shaped like a poodle, thinking of, a bush shaped like a dog. And so I was not expecting some doggy style stuff going on. But you know what? That's okay. And sometimes the accident is the point. And the more I played with it, the more fun I had. I started out with super low expectations, but I weirdly loved these happy accidents. The models have definitely gotten better and more sophisticated over the years, but I like to use them for more like first drafts. So these are first drafts there. Some things are off about them that I just know that they're not quite me. So I prefer to keep the human in the loop, and I'll redraw them to make them feel truly like mine. And I have found that my process has changed and my role as well. I've become the curator, the director, and editor, really kind of trying to infuse that human spark. And it no longer felt like it was me against the machine. It was more about what we could create together, turning AI into a collaborator. So all of these little happy accidents delighted me so much. I wondered, how might I apply this to my UX practice? So instead of being designer Mick, all about order, versus Illustrator Mick, that's that chaos and play, what if AI could be the weird little sweet meet cute that finally let my two worlds serendipitously collide? It really helped me realize that the chaos of my illustration work can actually spark the structure of my design work and give that structure a little bit more heart. So I've tried to extract some principles of an illustrator's mindset that, with a little help from AI, can help you design more delightful experiences. The first principle is a tale as old as time, translating feelings into stories. So, when an experience is truly delightful, it's more than a transaction, it creates an emotional connection. So, in my illustration practice, I love to add a little wink or a nod that says, I see you, you got my joke. And it turns a passive observer into an active participant, making them feel seen, smart, and connected to it on a deeper level. In our Easter eggs, we do the exact same thing. This is one of my favorite ones. It made me kind of tear up. When Velma from Scooby Doo came out as a lesbian, we sprinkled some pride confetti on her page, and it was really sweet. So, by honoring her identity, we made an entire community feel seen. It's personal and it's insightful, and it really just builds a lot of love. For us, it's not just about surface level decoration. Just because something is delightful, like confetti, doesn't mean it's right. So, this is a terrible example, but it kind of proves the point. A happy, bouncy button and confetti is probably not the best choice on a site selling gravestones. Context matters, I guess. So generally, we design to find the safest, most efficient idea. It's logical, but it often filters out the weird, human, and delightful ideas. In fact, delight is typically an afterthought. It's just kind of like, hey, can you sprinkle this in at the top, at the end there? So that's what it feels like. But what if, instead of starting with data, we started with a feeling? What if we used AI as a creative spark factory to kind of find that human insight first? So, a perfect example of this challenge came up recently when we had to design for one of the most passionate fandoms in the world, Taylor Swift and her army of Swifties. Is anyone here a Swiftie? N- I saw you. Okay. Okay, I am not, despite being a millennial woman. I don't know the lore. I don't know the secret language, but I do know they have a lot of feelings about things. And my worldview is only so big. So often I have to design things that I barely know anything about. So my challenge was huge. I needed to learn quickly how these Swifties think and what their emotional drivers were. So I designed a custom GPT as a cultural translator. I wrote up the prompt that could generate insights about a topic quickly, especially those core emotional drivers of the fandom. I asked it to give a brief recap of the topic and its significance of the moment, to give me a quick rundown of emotion based insights this fandom might have, and lastly, just do a gut check for me. Recommend, is this a good moment to show up for? And if so, maybe provide some Easter egg ideas. This is a first draft, just like we'll see. What I learned was that for Swifties, the core feeling isn't just the love of the music, it's the thrill of being in on the secret and feeling included. Taylor is also known for her Easter eggs, and she likes to reward her most dedicated fans with cryptic clues that they'll work together to solve. They don't want to just be given content, they want to be part of the world that Taylor is creating and earn their place in it. So, with an album launch quickly approaching, we designed an experience that fed that exact feeling. We created a worldwide real life scavenger hunt for Swifties that rewarded their obsession. We started with a puzzle on her search page that kind of mimicked the same feeling of her album art of being like collagey feeling. We sprinkled in some confetti letters there that disclosed those letters were actually a puzzle disclosing the locations of 12 hidden orange doors in 12 cities around the globe. The Swifties would like flock to social. There's millions TikToks, Reddit deep dives to decipher the scrambles, but they didn't know what it meant yet until these doors started popping up in those cities. We did a collaboration with YouTube where each of these doors had a QR code on it. And then when you scanned it, you could watch this YouTube short that had more clues in it. And they had to kind of like share on social all these puzzles pieces that they were finding together in all these different cities to reveal the final clue, which led to another Google page that had a locked door. And from there, they had to use their collective power to knock 12 million times, 12 is like an Easter egg for Taylor, to unlock an exclusive premiere of a new music video. And that was all in like 2 days. It was a crazy ride. I was just like deep doom scrolling, just like watching them react in real time. It was incredible how obsessed they were, to put it mildly. But I think that we were successful in that we really made them feel like they were part of this like global secret club, strengthening their love for Taylor and their Swiftie community, and ultimately some good vibes for us. So, by using AI to find that feeling first, we found a genuine insight that made this massive community feel truly seen. All of those elements of the scavenger hunt, the glittery text confetti, little page animations of the door, they could be considered surface level, but by tapping into that feeling, we were able to string them together to create authentic delight at scale. Okay, so once you have an emotional target, the next step is to play. So in illustration, you experiment by just making things to see how they feel. This principle is about bringing that same hands on learning by making approach to UX. So for me, it's a personal practice. It's about staying curious and just, kicking the tires on new tools simply to see what they can do. So I took this image and threw it into Gemini's new VO, and I just told it to transform this image. And they took my drawing and they made her go swimming. And I was super happy with it. I loved it. I actually just kept playing around with these because I loved them so much. I took all my old drawings. There's something I could never have made myself. I am not a motion designer or an animator. So it's really about this habit of playing without a goal that builds the creative muscle. My illustration experiments taught me that the fastest path to fun is making. So that mindset naturally led us to vibe coding. Vibe coding brings the illustrator's spirit of play directly into our UX process. So instead of building, static mocks and Figma, we can now use AI to spin up fully playable interactive prototypes in actual code in minutes, not weeks. And that really helps us test the feel of a delightful moment instantly. So here's a quick example. Recently, it was the 75th anniversary of the Peanuts comic. We wanted to explore a playable concept for a Snoopy Easter egg. The old way would have taken weeks, design a Figma, hand off to a motion designer, play with it and iterate on that, design to make sure we're interpreting the field correctly, get feedback, hand it off to Eng, give feedback, do Q&A, etc. We don't know, though, at that point if the core interaction is actually fun until weeks or months into the process. So the new way is just a simple prompt. This is a prompt that I started to use, and the important thing here is it just says all you start into Gemini is just let's vibe code. So it's really simple. Turn on canvas mode in Gemini, and then you start writing your prompt with let's vibe code. The vibe I was going for was fun Snoopy game. The description does not need to be perfect, just interesting, thoughtful, and creative, and you let it go. So I told it I wanted Snoopy as the Red Baron, that you could control him using a joystick and collect his little bird friend Woodstock as rewards. And from there, the making process became a conversation. I refined the joystick's responsiveness, I changed the rewards, added progressive difficulty, and just kept refining and iterating till I was happy with it. The next step was just uploading our custom assets. We have a very talented designer or artist on our team, so she made all these Snoopies. And by feeling the game mechanics as we built them, we got to this kind of high fidelity, testable concept in a fraction of the time. And then we could answer the most important question: is this fun on day one? And it's changed our process. We go from an idea straight to a playable prototype in hours, and really collapses the slow linear handoff and lets us test the feel from the very beginning, which helps de-risk creative ideas. So instead of speculating about delight, we can feel it quickly, and it allows our team to test 10 times more creative concepts and only move forward with the ones that genuinely have that spark. This final principle kind of helps bring it all together. It's not just about accepting happy accidents that happen to you, it's about actively looking for them and turning it into a deliberate practice. So in my personal work, I do this by intentionally exploring weird prompts. I have a whole folder full of memes, and one of my favorite thing to do is just find one and interpret it. So lately, I've been just kind of throwing these into my model and letting AI show me what possibilities I might not have considered before. It came up with the one in the middle, which I loved. I loved the style of it, and this has probably been one of the cooler use cases for me. My work has been very simple before, but this has literally shown me how I can play with things like texture, color, and shapes in all sorts of ways I hadn't really considered. And it's the deliberate hunt for accidents that I have found to be the most effective way to evolve my style and truly just break out of creative ruts. And this is critical because the default in UX right now is a little bit of the opposite. Corporate processes are designed to eliminate the unexpected. This really leads to creative convergence where every product looks and feels the same because everyone is optimizing for predictability. So, how do we hunt for happy accidents? We build processes that are designed to invite them. So, on our team, we have a rapid fire brainstorm every Friday called DGIF, which is Delightful Generation of Ideas and Features. But basically, we all just gather, swarm on a single creative prompt, and it's kind of this formal way of creating space for chaos and finding those unexpected sparks. So recently we held one all about games, and I had just come back from a trip to Tokyo. The Google office was across the Shibuya crossing from my hotel, so I probably crossed it like 12 million times. And it really just reminded me of the game Frogger. And I quickly thought of like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to do a Frogger style game inspired by that Shibuya crossing? So I just quickly vibe coded it. And an Eng partner loved it. He like, wait, hold my beer. And he took this and he made an American one, American crossing. But what was so great is he hooked it up to an API, pulled in actual maps, made it completely way more complex and difficult and just weird, and I loved it. Somebody took the car idea and went into a different direction. They vibe coded this. They created a cozy ambient driving game, but as a team, when we were watching it, we were like, this feels familiar. It feels like some David Lynch, like Twin Peaks vibe going on. It was such a mood. So we went back, we added a radio dial to change the music on it, and eventually we want to add a sign, but it's not perfect, but it gave us a great first draft to keep iterating on. So embracing those happy accidents is probably the most powerful tool we have to fight that creative convergence. It really injects the originality and personality that's necessary to create those lovable, memorable experiences, the kind that stand out and make users feel a real human connection. So, to kind of wrap this all up, as a personal lesson, my journey taught me that creativity is a practice, not a gift. AI became the serendipity that bridged my two selves, gives experiences a little bit more heart, creating that authentic delight. It's the emotional leap that shifts an experience simply from it works to I love it. And when you get comments like this, thank you to whatever gay Google intern did this, you know that you did your job, even though I'm not either of those, but it's fine. It's cool. Like, I'll let them think what they think. So, by taking a lesson from Bob Ross, we realize that the real magic happens when we embrace the unexpected. That's how we move beyond the merely functional and into true delight. And ultimately, that's what it means to manufacture serendipity. It's not about waiting for a brilliant idea to strike, it's about intentionally creating processes that invite those unexpected, delightful connections. And that's how we build things that people truly love. So, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So, should we start with questions from the audience? Yes, please.
Ooh.
A microphone is coming in 1 second.
I have a challenging question for you. It was great.
said
I loved it.
easy.
I have a challenging question for you that requires all your creativity to answer. No, all your imagination to answer. What will Picasso do with AI?
Oh my god.
I saw this name in your illustration.
Yeah.
So obviously, I guess you like the guy as I do, and I probably you thought about it, and I think he would be a negative guy. He will hate it. He will love it. He will do incredible stuff. What
yeah, I
do
think
you
he
think
would
he
not.
would do? I think this is a fantastic topic. Maybe you can brainstorm on that.
Yeah, I think he would shun it, but that is the challenge I found with my like illustrator friends versus my designer friends is there's like definitely a divide and it's very polarized. I think I sit in that weird sweet spot of both where I see the benefits and the effects and the risks of it. So in terms of Picasso, I could see him like using it to just like completely mix things up, but I don't think that he would even explore it, if I'm honest.
Let's take a question from the remote audience. And they were wondering what inspired your obsession with butts and
Oh
farts?
my gosh. I get asked that a lot, and I still don't have a good answer for it. I think it's universal. Everybody's read that book, right? Everybody poops, and everybody. No,
No, sorry.
I have a 4-year-old, so we're very familiar with that. But I don't know. Come on, when are you not laughing? I heard you all laugh at the butt, so I just think it's a great equalizer. I think, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is. And on a maybe more serious note, another question was, how do you measure the success of the Easter eggs at Google? Is there some measurement? Like,
Yeah, I was
mm,
worried you might ask me about metrics. So this one is a little bit tough. We do have some internal ways we can measure, especially like when it's very visible, like the counter, like on the Taylor Swift one, everybody can see we have like there was at one point the we did this launch that had a counter on it, and I watched it cross like 25 million in like 3 hours. It was wild. So we have external visible tools or metrics like that. And a lot of it, honestly, especially the nature of our work, it is kind of subjective. So a lot of it is social. And we have a whole social team that's running analytics on that to just kind of see if it landed with audiences. Our most like famous one in recent memory was, I don't know, do y'all know Chapel Roan?
mhm.
Yeah, we did an Easter egg last year for her, and all it was we took the like, do you know how Google's known for its like, did you mean kind of thing? So she's a musician, and we just put an Easter egg on hers that was she'd spoken or sang at Coachella, and she made this little line. She's like, "I'm your artist's favorite artist," and so when we put it on her page, we just put, "Did you mean your artist's favorite artist?" And it went viral, and that was like a great she even went on like a talk show in the US, Jimmy Fallon, and like it was just, we were like our VPs were like loving it, like
Oh,
so that's a way to just virality, I guess.
super. Mick, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.